Okay. Hello YouTube, Aeon Slasher here with more tips, tricks, and self-hacks for depression. And as always, I'm not a psychiatrist, so don't take my word too seriously. I'm just a person trying to help. Today what I want to talk to you guys about is emotion. Because emotions while you're depressed are not your friends. Emotions fucking suck. Emotions suck so hard. Like, I'm going to have a little visual for you guys about depression just kind of in general. So in general, depression tends to go like a circle. So this circle is your mental, emotional state, or I guess it's your ellipsis, is your mental, emotional state. And so like when you're up here is when you're feeling really good. It's when your depression is kind of, when you're at your highest point of the circle, your depression is at its lowest like point of influence. However, this entire circle is your depression. So even when you're up here and you're feeling like you're on top of the world, your depression's not really gone. You're just pushing the weight of it down. Whereas when you're down here, down at the bottom, this is when your depression is at its highest point of influence, and you're just kind of being crushed by the entire weight of the circle. And that's the really, really bad points. And like what your emotions and what you're emotionally going through has this way of creating bridges. So you can be like right here on an upmend and you're coming up from your depression cycle, and then something happens here and it's just like, haha, never mind. Come back here. Back over here. No upcycle for you. Back to the down cycle. Although it can work the other way. You can go from being like here in your down cycle and have something good happen, and it'll take you back up to your up cycle. So it's a circle, but it's not a linear circle. You don't have to go around it like a clock. I didn't mean to move the circle itself there. You don't have to go around the circle like a clock. You can jump. Did not want to delete the circle. I want to delete this, but instead I'm just going to copy it and I'm going to paste a bunch of them. Because, your journey can go like this, and like, right now it's white. So if you imagine everything that's not white as a bridge, and they can be good bridges, they can be bad bridges, they can be bridges that take you from the top of the world down straight to the bottom. That's happened. It happens sometimes. It doesn't mean necessarily that everything's going wrong. It's just sometimes your brain decides to take that bridge, and you're like, fuck you, brain. Fuck you, emotions. Because emotions suck. Like emotions are kind of my biggest indicator of what's going on with my cycle. Like, so, let's see. I want to fill you in with the color black. Those are all the bridges. Like, there are infinite number of bridges, and they go everywhere from every point. I'm sure some of them, if you could see them, would be like zigzaggy, and they'd be taking you from like this point to like here, to like here, to like here. And it's like your emotions tend to go everywhere because your brain is taking these bridges and going in the circle without your okay. It's like you don't have control over how your brain's acting, which means you don't have a lot of control over how your emotions act. And that I hate the lack of self-control when it comes to these kinds of things. I hate the lack of self-control. I hate how being emotional makes me feel. So a lot of the time I try to squash down the emotional. I try to stay in this really nice, level, even playing field where like Like, it's kind of like my hands. Like, it's kind of bumpy, it can go up, it can go down, but I try to stay on this line because this is my happy line. This is my happy place. Like, I try to keep my line. I'm going to put this here. So if we're taking the circle as our emotional state, and up here is happy as you can be, and down here is sad as you can be. Actually, let's label this shit. 'Cause I'm happy. Okay, and then down here is like, now I'm sad. And that's really, really big generalizations. Like, I'm not going to say sad, I'm going to say depressed. Now I'm depressed. Because depressed tends to take in a lot of emotions. So, now I'm depressed. And then this section here in the middle, right? I want you to be red, because red's gonna be me, because my favorite color is red. So there's this like section kind of in the middle, where I just generally try to stay with my emotions. You'll notice it's kind of a big section. But that's because I tend to keep everything in the square. Damn it, circle, stop trying to impede on the square's happiness. Everything in the square is, it's the entire range of emotions you can have. You can have like sad emotions, happy emotions, whatever, but it's all kind of on the same wavelength. Like, you get sad, but you're not like too sad. Or you can get happy, but you're not like too happy. And I try to stay in this square, because when I get out of this square, that's when my emotions tend to run rampant, and that's when I start to experience a lot of like self-anger and self-hate, because I don't like leaving that square. It's my happy square. But when I leave that square, when I go somewhere down here or somewhere up here, then I tend to start going on those bridges again. Like, if I can stay in my square, you can see the bridges are kind of being blocked out right now. Like, also there's a line that goes from like here to here, and another line that goes from like down here to here. You know? And like, as long as I can stay on these bridges, I'm doing good. If I can stay in the red, I feel like I'm doing good, because even if I get super, super sad, if I'm still on the red and I can still get myself back to my happy square, then I'm okay. If I get really, really happy and I get back to my square, then I'm okay. But if I end up in these black areas where, like, there's just bridges upon bridges upon bridges, and there's nothing that really connects directly to my square, then I get really, really, really depressed. I get really, really, really emotional. And I hate that state. I absolutely hate it. Because it'll be something like, I get super happy about something. Super happy. I'm up here. I'm on top of the circle. I'm so happy. I'm so glad. And then I get here and, like, instead of falling on a bridge, I fall off the circle and I just go shoom, like all the way down. And then suddenly I'm super sad because, of course, this happy, good thing is never going to last. It can't last forever. Something bad has to happen. That's what happens. You go from these intense emotional states and you just flip-flop between them, and you go and you just get angry and you get sad and you get mad and you get happy, and everything starts to get so overwhelming. Like, it's too much. It's way too much. There's too many emotions. Keep me inside my happy square. Like, and I'm not saying the happy square is the best way to deal with it. Like, it's probably a bad thing. I've actually talked to my psychiatrist about this a couple of times, about how I try so hard to keep my emotions bottled up, because when I let them out, I just go insane with emotion, and I hate it. And I tend to blame emotions for a lot of my depression problems, because I always have these wild fluctuating emotions when I'm super depressed. When I get happy, when I find my square, I just get really, really neutral to a lot of things. And it's like, yes, it's like those questionnaires, where it's like, it starts with, I greatly disagree, I kind of disagree, neutral, sort of agree, greatly agree. I try to stay away from the greatlies. I try to stay in the middle where it's like sort of agree, sort of disagree. I'm not really happy about this, but I'm not super upset either. I'm just neutral. I'm just me. I'm just trying to live my life and stay on my bridges, the bridges I like, my favorite bridges, because they're red, because red's my favorite color. I feel like this one is just going everywhere. Like, emotions are a really hard subject to talk about because, God, they just affect everything and they're fucking everywhere. And they don't play nice. They don't try and be easy for you to deal with. They're always just like, like, boom, like bombs going off in your brain. And you're just like, I want to go back to my numb state. Like, I want to go back to just being numb again. I want to just stop all the emotions. I want to just stop everything. It's too much. It's all too much. And when your life gets super out of control and then your emotions get super out of control, it like sucks because emotions are supposed to be something that's like a part of you. It's your brain. It's how you're feeling. It's who you are. They should be things you can control, but you can't. And sometimes when you lose control of the self and everything, and your outside of the self is getting out of control, it's all going together in this blender, whirlwind, tornado of out of control. And you can't control what's going on outside. You can't control that, something's happening to you, but you can control your emotions, or you think you can, but you really can't. And that's something I still haven't quite made my peace with. But you feel like you should be able to control the self when everything outside of the self is out of control, but you can't. You can't control your depression. You can't control your emotions. You can only kind of guide them. Try and get them on your bridges. So, like, that's why I make my line so big in the middle here. Damn it, circle, I'm not talking about you right now. That's why I keep my line so big, because you gotta let yourself experience some fluctuation. Like, life is sad. It kind of just, default neutral is kind of default sad. Like, you gotta have those little moments of happy and those moments of joy, and you gotta intersperse them in your thing. Like, I quote Fruits Basket in my video, in a couple of my other videos. If you want the full quote, check out the Things That I Love video, Fruits Basket. But there's an analogy that I'm going to reiterate here, because it kind of applies to everything, and it's kind of what I use to try and get my emotions under control. But it's basically, imagine all the bad things, everything that's going on, all your bad emotions, everything that's going to happen to you, everything that's going to happen in the future, is this just giant pile of laundry. And you don't have a washing machine, you only have this little hand washer. And it just keeps piling up. New laundry just keeps getting added, and you get so freaked out by the size and the pile of the laundry that you don't do anything. When that happens, when your emotions are freaking out, when your life is going wrong, when everything is just going wrong, you gotta start with the laundry at your feet. It does you no good if you can't step forward. Like, do the laundry at your feet, and you can do a little bit of laundry from all around you. You can do some of your emotional laundry. Deal with something that's, like, figure out why you're feeling that way. Because usually if you can figure out why you're getting that emotional, it stops having that much power over you. So if you can look at your actions and be like, the reason I'm getting angry and emotional right the fuck now is because I hate emotions. Like, Like, you have to self-analyze. You have to, the emotion issue's too big. I'm not dealing with all of my emotions right now. I've been working slowly. I've been working slowly at feeling my own emotions for 3 years now, 2 or 3 years now. Like, it's a slow process. And honestly, the first thing I had to let myself feel was sad and angry, because I tried so hard to keep those emotions down that they just overwhelmed me. And I'm dealing with them right now. Like, I'm dealing with sad and angry and trying to figure out how to be okay with being sad and angry, because you just, laundry at your feet. Start with the laundry at your feet and keep moving forward. And who knows, maybe one day my circle will be red. Like, maybe not fully red, but it'll be a hell of a lot more red than it is now. Like, I don't know how many of these things I'm gonna make, but like, one of these days my circle might have so much red that the black is just kind of a sad memory, and that because there's no more emotions that I don't want to let myself feel anymore, because they hurt and they're a lot. And like, the one thing I should be able to control is my own brain, but you can't. There's nothing in this world fully under your control. And once you kind of accept that and bring it into your being and make it a part of you, like, you can't control how much laundry is going to get thrown at you. You can't. You work for a laundry machine person or something. You can't control how much laundry gets thrown on you. You can control how much of it gets done. Like, wash some things. Deal with what's going on. But you can't deal with it all at once. Like, you can't just start off with the box and be like, I'm perfectly in this box. It took me a long ass time to make that box. And like, when I was younger, that box was really, really small. It was super thin. It was a line, because I didn't want to feel anything. And I've recently started accepting emotions back into my life, but I hate them. I hate them so much. And I don't really have any good advice on how to deal with them, because I don't know a lot. It's just like with everything else. It's like with health. It's like with creating. You gotta find an emotional system that works for you. And for those moments when you end up on these black bridges and you end up in these bad areas, you need to find a support system and find other things you can do besides be sad. Because, like, there's a way. Sometimes you just gotta stop washing laundry. Sometimes you just gotta stop and step back and be like, some of these clothes aren't worth the effort of cleaning. Like, some things aren't worth the struggle of holding on to them. They don't do anything for you, but you're still putting all this work into it. And you need to find, like, a way to differentiate the rags from the clothes. Like, I'm not saying that rags don't have their place in your life. I'm just saying that, you should probably put more effort in keeping your clothes clean. And I'm getting really carried away with this metaphor. But Fruits Basket honestly calms me down a lot. And the biggest thing to remember when you're dealing with all these emotions, with the circle, with the lines, with the bridges, is that you're not the only person dealing with them. Some people are incredibly lucky to have all of their bridges in their favorite color, and to have no place in their mind where they're not willing to go, because those people are just lucky. A lot of people have these dark spots in your brain where you just don't want to be. You just need to figure out how to build the bridges from where you don't want to be to where you do want to be. And it sounds super difficult, and that's because it really kind of is. Like, you get a lot of these sort of things, where you've got a line that just kind of goes nowhere because you're trying to make these bridges, but they don't always work. Sometimes they just stop and they jilt, and you're stuck in this abyss. And this is what's the comforting part. Even when there's no extra lines, when there's no, like, if we get rid of all these extra lines, I can't get rid of them all. Maybe if here we go. Undo. Like, even if your life is like this and your happy space is like this and it's super small and it's kind of mostly in the negative, but it's your happy place, that's okay. It's okay if your happy place is kind of in the negative. It's the place where you feel most secure in yourself. Because once you build this foundation, once you get this line, you can make it bigger and you can take your circle back. It's your circle. It's not your brain's, it's yours. And even if your line is super, like, I don't know how thin I can make this thing. Pretty thin. Even if your line's like this and you're up here somewhere in the abyss, like, even if you're just swimming blindly and just trying anything you can, eventually you'll land back on okay. Eventually it'll happen. Like, and that doesn't sound super comforting, it doesn't sound super amazing, but sometimes you just have to live for that eventually and just keep moving forward, even if you're just stumbling around in the dark, because eventually you'll hit this line. And as you continue learning how your own emotions work and learning how to, like, deal with your own brain, you can make this bigger until one day, like, your circle just disappears and you've just got your little happy square. This would have worked better if it would have fit into the circle immediately, but it's a square, so. Happy square. And you can't forget to celebrate your own victories. Like, I'm honestly super proud of how big I've gotten my square to be, because it used to be that tiny, it used to be that thin, and I used to just be floundering in the dark all the time. It took a long time to learn how to make up this square, and a lot of it just came from being really, really honest with myself. And I know when you're when you're down here and you're sad, you don't want to be honest with yourself, because all of your honesty is coming in the form of self-hate and self-abuse, and you're down here and you're being like, I am being honest with myself, I'm a horrible person, I am being honest with myself, I don't contribute anything to this world, and I don't need to be here. That's not you being honest with yourself. That's your depression manipulating you, because you have reasons to live and there are things to live for, and you have to find them. Like, you can't let being down here influence you from never finding your square. Like, you have to find that space for you. And for when you're down here and you're feeling super sad and super depressed and you're just getting down on yourself, like, I have another Fruits Basket quote analogy that I'm gonna impart to you. So in Japan, they have these things called onigiri, which are rice balls. And a lot of times they'll put, hi Nala, a lot of times they'll put add-ons to the back, but when you look at the front, it just looks like plain old rice. It isn't until you turn them around that you can see what's on their back. So you kind of have to think of your good qualities like that. They're on your back. They're not easy for you to see because they're on your back. All you can see is your front. All you see is your plain white rice. But if you turn yourself around, you might have a plum or some salmon or anything. It could be anything unique to you, anything you love to eat with rice, honestly. Probably not proper onigiri, but it works for the point of our analogy. And even though you can't see those good qualities, the people around you can, because they can see your back a lot easier than you can. So when you're down here and you're feeling like you're super sad and you're useless and there's no reason for you to be around, go talk to somebody else, somebody who sees your good qualities and who can tell them to you. Because honestly, it helps a lot to know there's someone on your side. There's someone at your back. This video kind of got away from me, but if you liked it, or if you identify with it in any way, like, comment, subscribe. I try to post new videos here every Sunday. I also have a couple other playlists going on that I try to update on Wednesdays, which are basically just things that I enjoy doing, things that I love, as a way to try and keep positive and focus on my happy place, and try and stay in my happy place, because I'm still trying to expand it. I want my happy square, damn it. It's been a long process in coming, but I know I can do it, and I know we can all do it. We just need to give ourselves the chance. So, comment with your happy place. It can be anything you want, just something like when you're there, you feel at peace. When you're there, you feel calm and relaxed and kind of like nothing can touch you. If you have one. I think of your happy place has always been like the hardest question for me. I've never been able to just close my eyes and just imagine a place where I feel fully content and fully happy. But if you have a happy place, definitely comment. I'm gonna say my happy place is my box, is my emotional happy place, because I don't really tie a lot of my happy thoughts to things. I tie them to places. I'll see you guys next week, and stay strong.